I wanted to know, Gillian Anderson, we're surrounded by huge fans of shows, of games. Is there a rock band or a TV show that would actually make you buy a t-shirt or go to a concert twice?
Oh yes, Radiohead.
Woo! Can you elaborate on your love of Radiohead? How many concerts of them have you seen? What do you like about them?
Oh, I've probably only seen maybe 4 or 5. I've probably seen Coldplay a bit more than that, but I'd probably more likely wear a Radiohead t-shirt. I just love them. Just cool.
Talking about acting, we're here for that. I wanted to go back in time and ask you maybe a question that comes often, but how did it start? When did you feel the fire burning inside and I'm going to be on stage? How did that start?
I think that started as an early teen, I think. I think I went for my first audition around age 12, and didn't get it, and quit. But then I think it was still a desire inside me, so eventually auditioned again. But I think, yeah, from that age.
And were you a theater nerd, or were you someone that would take over a room? What kind of theater kid were you?
I actually wasn't a theater kid. I think that I both imagined myself on television and in films. I think more in films, but my training was in theater, and so that's where I developed the love of stage work. But I think I always imagined myself on a screen.
And you got lucky with...
I really got lucky, yeah.
X-Files was huge. And you got 9 years for the first run to develop that character. What did you want to inject in that character? What did you want for Dana Scully during those 9 years?
Well, I think that changed over time. I think at the beginning I didn't really have any wants, so I didn't know that that it was possible to have wants. Like I didn't think, I have better ideas or better thoughts about, I think I just kind of went along with the script and the trajectory that I was given. And I think over time, I started to, after a while, it becomes more and more challenging to not see the thing that's right in front of you. And so, and there were, the writers got very creative with how to, make Scully not see things or not believe in things. But over time, it was pretty constant that the overriding single track was around my son and not having my son and wanting a son or wanting a child, and so I think after a while I felt like I was wishing that I didn't have that broken record and felt like I was more than that, and so not just that the character was more than that. So it was complicated. Yeah.
And the character often got compared to Clarice Starling. I want to know what you make of this comparison and how it felt going into Hannibal afterwards, knowing that comparison followed the discussions on Dana Scully often.
I knew that's you know, was an inspiration for our creator, Chris Carter, and which was fine, and it totally made sense in terms of who she was, so that never bothered me. And I think going into Hannibal, you know, Bedelia was so different from Clarice, and you know, that it never really came up because her interests in him were they were coming from a different place. It felt like it just felt like they were completely different.
And going from Bedelia to Jean, from one shrink to another, I want to know how much sexification to you felt like a milestone or maybe a crossroads, because as viewers, it really felt like the jumpstart to something new for us.
You mean in terms of me playing something so completely different, or
so different, mediatized as well? Maybe it opened some new doors in writing, meeting the casts, I guess, because it feels like you were really connecting to the young actors around you. How much of a crossroads, a milestone it felt in your career?
I guess I didn't really realize that at the time, or think that. I was appreciative of the opportunity to do comedy, obviously, and so that aspect of it in and of itself was really fun. And so I guess I got a chance to, completely kind of go crazy and expand all elements of a character or personality and be as broad as I could with her. So in a sense, yes, it felt like a different, like a left turn in a sense, but I feel like almost she is more a part of my real personality in a way than even some of the other characters that I've played. So just in terms of her lightness and goofiness, I mean, it's all, I don't know. I'm really serious too. I've got nothing more to say about it.
Also, I wonder, sometimes, especially with series more than films, we as viewers tend to feel close to your character. And she gets, Jean, all those stories. I mean, she invites people to share, maybe to overshare. Do you feel sometimes people are oversharing with you? Do they consider you as Jean Milburn?
No, that never happens. Ever happens. Particularly at Comic-Con. I mean, I'm not often so close to the fans, right? So, and so this is really it really is one of the only opportunities, isn't it, for people to come and tell me their life story.
Might be an idea for a podcast, maybe in a few years. And now, sorry? Before we turn to the audience and ask you guys and girls to ask questions, I have one more question. I want to know about Tron Ares. It's just been released. Were you a fan of the original film? What was it like to participate in this huge gem in sci-fi?
I was a fan of the original. Haven't seen the middle one, and I thought it would be fun. It had been a while since I'd stepped into the sci-fi realm, and obviously it was going to be massive. It was fun to step into that level of tech and expertise, and I mean the stages were so humongous, but also that they built a lot of practical sets rather than it wasn't all CGI. So that was pretty cool too. It was pretty awesome.
Thank you. So now I'm turning to all of you. If you want to ask a question to Gillian Anderson, you should follow the footsteps to the two mics that are here, one on the left, one on the right. We'll go one, 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 one. And please ask one question and state your name to make it quick because it's always nice when we're talking to. So let's start on the left. What's your name and what is your question for Gillian?
Alright. Hi, my name is Bibi and I have a question. I'm German and I always wondered, since you're very international sometimes, if you speak or understand German or any other language?
I understand a little bit of French. I have a lot of Germans in my life, and I have a lot of family members who are German, and so it's in my heritage. But and I have a lot of Germans in my life. So, but I don't. I only recognize the ones that sound like the English equivalent, of which there are a lot of German words actually that sound like the English equivalent. But I understand a little bit of French, but not that much.
That's great, thank you.
Thank you.
And merci. Up to you, what's your name, what's your question?
My name is Sandra from Germany. I didn't have a question. I would like something to read, but I'm too nervous to speak freely. I would like to thank you for taking the time for me and for all the fans and for being here. I think that's not something to be taken for granted. You were involved in so many projects and yet you still take on all these efforts to be here with us, to make our little dreams and wishes come true and to let us experience a little bit of Gillian. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That was very articulate, so thank you.
Let's go back to you. What's your name? What's your question?
Hello, my name is Stephanie, and I wonder what would your perfect day off be like? Like, what do you like to do, eat, drink, or just to chill?
My perfect day would be with my children and my dog, and would be at home and going for a walk and eating together and hanging out and chatting, and then maybe watching a movie, but not taking so long like it always. You know how you get it takes forever to find a film, and by the time you've found something, it's been an hour and a half and it's bedtime. I don't want that to happen. I want to have a list of films that everybody says, yes, that's a good idea. And then we watch that film. And yeah, that might be my perfect day. Okay, thanks.
Up to you. What's your name? What's your question?
Hi, my name is Cami. I love your white boots, by the way. Your white boots. Yeah. So I want to ask you about your book, Want. I know you have a second volume coming out.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I know you very famously and very justifiably don't want to talk about which one is yours. So, on the flip side of that, I want to know, is there anything that came up, maybe a particular fantasy, or maybe a trend that came, thank you, maybe a trend that came up that really surprised you, or felt, or just very surprising to you as, oh wow, this is a part of female sexuality that I never could have fathomed. What was surprising to you?
I think what was kind of surprising for me was how important women were finding the book, how important to them it was to read other women's fantasies, and how empowering it was to have either a sense of recognition or a sense of not feeling alone, or whether that was a 70-year-old who's still a virgin, or an 18-year-old who is terrified of their first kiss, or whatever the the truths that came out of it. It's not just about fantasy, this book, it's about so many things. And you know, it is very much about women's desire and whether that desire remains in their heads, in our heads, or whether it's we feel courageous enough to speak it, even to the people closest to us in our lives. It's really important, that voice. And even if the voice remains anonymous and is just on the page, that is incredibly empowering, I think, for women particularly. And so, I knew that it would be interesting. I didn't realize that it would be important. So that was surprising. Thank you.
Up to you. What's your name? What's your question?
Hello, my name is Natalia. I'm from Barcelona. I have an X-Files question, sorry. I would like to talk about the bloopers because, like, back then we didn't have as much content that we have right now in shows, and there's like a few reels still on YouTube and on our archives. And you know, when you feel bad, you feel down, you just put it on and you have a good laugh. I'm wondering whether, if you remember like a blooper that, like, especially some episode or something, like a blooper that you remember that made you laugh a lot. I don't know.
So a blooper from the X-Files?
Or any other show, like, any other show. Like, is it common to mess up on sets? Or I don't think it's very,
well,
I guess
it
the
used
directors
to
don't
be
like
quite
that.
common back then because sometimes, you know, we'd be filming at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes that would be when the bulk of our dialogue was, or when we'd have, the thing that comes to mind, okay, so there's the laughing because you say stupid things or the wrong word comes out and it keeps coming out over and over again and you can't not, and then you laugh and you can't stop laughing, there's that. But then there's also, like, I keep thinking about, there was one time where we had this extra who was lying down and he was meant to be dead. He was meant to be a cadaver, and there were real maggots that had been placed in his eyes. And yet it was so gross and disturbing that, and both David and I, or maybe it was just me, got so concerned about the maggots like digging into like the corner that I couldn't focus on my dialogue because I had to like not look, but I was meant to be looking at him while I was, you know, stuff like that. And so very often I'm sorry, we have to stop right now because there's one that's about to go into his eyeball, you know, that kind of stuff. Is that what you want to know?
Yeah, why not? Yes, sure. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming and thank you for doing Comic-Cons again.
Thank you.
Cheers. Up to you. What's your name and what's your question?
Hello, my name is Stella. It kind of echoes the question that you already asked, but whatever. So you've talked a lot in the past about how Stella Gibson has influenced you in your personal life, and I was wondering if it was kind of the same for Jean, because since Sex Education, you've done so much work and so much projects that are around women's sexuality. So I'm wondering, like, had you not played her, would the book exist? Would G-Spot exist? Would you have worn that amazing dress, the vulva dress that the Golden Globe was such a serve? Does it all stem from Jean, or did you have it in you all along and you're just like now living it out?
That's a really good question. I don't think I've quite been asked that before, and I have to imagine that that none of it would have happened without Jean. I didn't realize that I had so much to say about it, and I think probably it's only since. I feel like because of the response and because of the degree to which it's not just her, you know, it's Jean, but it's also her as the non-judgmental ear and safe space, right? And so that's why the book suddenly made sense. Because I understood, you know, why me asking women from around the world to write to me made sense was because of Jean. And, you know, I wouldn't have come up with the name, you know, when it was suggested that I do a drink and I said, don't be ridiculous, it was only when I thought of the name G-Spot that I thought, oh, okay, well, I get that. I get me having a drink called G-Spot, and I also get the potential messaging around that, the importance of the messaging around that, so that makes sense. And so, you're right, that wouldn't have happened without Jean, and the vulva dress wouldn't have happened without Jean, most definitely. Yeah, and I guess also just embracing more and being more vocal about all of the other things I've been vocal about lately. Yeah, you're right. That's much. Thanks.
Thanks. So what's your name? What's your question?
Hello, my name is Veerle. I'm here today as a mom, but I also happen to be a cyber professional. I work with young people or try to inspire young people who game and grow up in a digital world to turn their skills into new cyber careers, because there's a lot of shortage there. So Gillian, as someone who inspired a generation before in critical thinking, also being a woman in science, how do you think popular culture can help shape like the curiosity of this young generation into the digital world, into cyber? And maybe as a second question, I also want to know how curiosity today in your life still plays a role.
I have to be careful about, I have a tendency to, because I'm so busy doing so much else, I have a tendency to shut down my curiosity. I have just realized recently that, you know, that thinking, you know, it's too late to learn the language, it's too, you know, that kind of stuff, which I'm disappointed in that my brain goes in that direction. My kids are really curious, which I find very inspiring. And I don't know, I think I'm really properly nervous about the impact that the cyber world has and will continue to have on all of us, and particularly for the youth of today. And yes, if there's a way that it can be turned into a healthy, you know, because I'm a bit of a hermit, and I have hermit tendencies, and so I completely understand that desire in the way that interest in things on screens can be much more comforting than the challenges of what one sees in the outside world and or the expectations from the outside world. So I totally get that, but at the same time it makes me very sad and confused. And so any way that it can be used or used for continued curiosity and for good in a sense, and lightness rather than darkness, then that sounds like a good thing.
Thank you, and also for being an inspirational woman in technology.
Thank you.
Cheers. Team, what's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is
A nice costume, by the way.
Thank you. My name is Martina, and you recently did a cover for the Polish Vogue, and I think the final look is really amazing, and I was really thrilled that I could buy a magazine in my country and read the article in my language. It's not that I don't like reading in English, but it's something else when I read this in my own language. And I'm guessing Polish people work with you on that project, and I was wondering if you learned any Polish words during the shoot. No. But I saw on the Paris, the L'Oreal event, that you record something with the Polish actress, and you said one word in Polish, and
she forgot.
sing the song in Polish.
That was a great song. She was really cool.
Yes.
I liked her a lot. She was awesome.
And do you remember that word? It was love, like kocham.
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 Yes.
Yay!
It's not too late.
Kohan to you. And back to you. What's your name? What's your question?
Hi, Gillian. I'm Isa. I'm from Barcelona.
Woo!
And, one of the things I really like about you is how you use your fame to talk about important things and to help people, like women, children, and all the stuff you do. So thank you for that. And I want to ask you something about mental health. I'm a psychologist. And I think that you have always been open to talk about mental health, and that helps a lot of people, me. And I want to ask you if you have some piece of advice to give to someone that is actually struggling with mental health problems.
I mean, I'm not an expert. I know I struggle myself to ask for help when I need help, and I think that it's really important when one is feeling alone, and that surely nobody else feels the way that I feel, or not wanting to trouble other people, or that there are a lot of free services, and there are a lot of people that are that may be in our proximity that we don't think that we can reach out to, but that if asked would help. And I also know that what's really helped me in the past, and this is with anything, whether it's when there's a huge amount of stress and things on my plate, or whether it's in a darker time, that really cutting things down to small pieces is really, really helpful. And sometimes it's keeping the thoughts in the day, just anything that is not involved in today, I'm going to think about it tomorrow, or everything, only focus on what is right here, right now, in front of me, and not worry about the thing that I need to do next, or in the next hour, or later today, because it's really easy to get into a tailspin of fear and anxiety if sometimes when you think beyond right now. And so that's definitely been very, very helpful. And very often when a day feels overwhelming for whatever reason, nothing may have changed, but the next day somehow feels better, or you wake up and the weight of the world doesn't feel like it's on your shoulders, or, so, but to get to the next day, to get to wake up in the next day sometimes means that you need to take today in bite-sized pieces. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a really good
Unfortunately, we only have time for 2 more questions, so this is going to be you.
basically.
I feel like I have seen something recently that I really, really liked. I have such a bad memory. I watch a lot of documentaries. I don't watch a whole lot of contemporary stuff or dramas. There was something, there really was, and I really liked it.
What was it about?
I can't remember what it was. If I think about it in the next couple of minutes, I will yell it out.
We'll circle back.
Thank you.
So up to you. What's your name? What's your question?
My name is Annemie, and I come from Belgium. It's an honor to meet you. And I have a question. I know you are an excellent writer. Do you prefer write alone, or maybe, or sometimes be on stage, on the theater? But maybe it's good for you to be alone and just writing.
They feel like two completely different processes, and I think I probably prefer to be on stage. I actually don't enjoy writing. I enjoy it when it comes easy. I enjoy it when it just seems to come onto the page, and I don't enjoy it when I find it hard. So probably enjoy the stage more. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm determined to, should we just have this one more
Unfortunately, I was
question
just
since
received
I
a sign, but
didn't,
you're the queen here today, so let's go for one more
Last one.
question.
Woo!
Thank you so much. I'm really nervous. I don't want to cry. I just wanted to say thank you because you made us okay for it to not be okay. I'm asexual, and it's the first time in the show that's ever been talked about, and it made me feel like not a freak. And I don't know if you realize how much impact you've had on so many young people, so many people searching for themselves, and you were the mom, I love you so. You were the mom that we could ask these questions to without even having to ask these questions. And I wonder if you realize that you had that power over, I can say an entire generation. I don't know if there's any 20-year-olds, but that just like touched me deeply, and I just want to say thank you so much. And how you feel about knowing that you touched so many people, not in a weird way. I meant touched their heart. Sorry, I'm nervous.
I almost feel like you know, none of the things that I have been involved in the last while would exist. I mean, I mentioned Jean before, but would exist without without the ask, in a sense, without the response and it almost feels like it doesn't feel like it's me, you know what I mean? It feels like it feels like being of service in a way. I know I say this a lot, but it's really not. It does feel like, I actually don't even know how to put it into words, but it wouldn't exist without all of you. So therefore it feels like it's a conversation, and it's taken, I had some really amazing publishers, Bloomsbury, who worked on the book with me, and it took a few of us too to make the book what it was, and represented and how it was laid out, and the particular tone of the introductions was really important to get right, because I'm not an expert, and I also, you know, it's important that it's not about me. I'm not really talking about my own experience, and I can relate it to characters, or I can relate it to, so there's so much thought that went into it that was not my sole thinking, and so I recognize, I guess, all the people whose time and effort and expertise and care went into the book, not least the women who were brave enough to write in. So thank you for saying that, and I'm glad. I mean, it's extraordinary that it's making a difference. So thank you.
And thank you for being the moderator for this question.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing all this knowledge, all these stories. I didn't really expect to be talking about maggots today, but it was cool. And I could feel the home in the room, so thank you again. You still get to meet your hero outside of this room this afternoon, so take your time to follow your passion, and thank you for feeding that passion to us. Thank you.
We hebben even een oproep gedaan naar vrouwen die eigenlijk een seksuele ervaring of seksueel fantasie worden. Dus ze heeft dat